Lesson 7.1, Part 2. Our objective is to use multiplication properties of exponents. Rule number 2, power of power property. To find the power of a power, you simply multiply the exponents together. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Math Academy. We're still looking at Lesson 7.1, powers and exponents, but this is Part 2 of that same lesson. With this lesson, we're going to look at rule number 2, power of a power property. Rule number 2 states to find the power of a power, you simply multiply the exponents together. And I wanted to try to show you that before we just got right into the examples. For this one, we have 6 examples. We're going to try 3 together, then you're going to try 3 on your own. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, if you look here, the first thing that I have for you, I'm going to try to show you where that comes from. To just multiply the exponents together. I have 3 to the third power inside the parentheses, and I have the whole thing raised to the second power outside of my parentheses, okay? So now, if I evaluate what's inside the parentheses first, that's going to give me, I'm going to keep my parentheses, that's going to give me 3 to the third power. That means 3 times 3 times 3, okay? Now all of that was raised to the second power. So I have 3 times 3 times 3. Now I need to raise that to the second power. When I do that, this is what it's going to give me. It's going to give me 3 times 3 times 3. That's the first set. Then I need to do it again. I need to multiply that to itself because that's what that exponent 2 means. So then that gives me 3 times 3 times 3 again. Now when I look at it, how many 3's did I multiply to itself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this becomes 3 to the 6th power. And the rule simply said, if you're finding the power of a power, in this case that's what we're doing, you multiply your exponents together. So that means we just want to multiply the 3 times 2. And you see you get the same thing if you were to extend it out, which that's not what we're going to do. We're not going to extend these out. We're just going to follow what the rule says. The rule says to just multiply it together, but I did want you to see that you'll get the exact same thing, okay? So let's look at the first example together. Once again, we're going to try 3 of these examples together. My first one, I have 2 to the second raised to the third power. Well, what did the rule say to do? The rule was very simple. It says to multiply the exponents. So this becomes 2 to the 7th power times 3. Okay? And 7 times 3 is 21. So this becomes 2 to the 21st power. And if we had to extend that out, hey, that'd be a lot of 2's. Let's go right underneath. Let's look at the problem right underneath. I'm going to move this up a smidge so we can get these last couple of problems. Okay? So now I have 8 outside of the parentheses. Inside I have m to the 5th raised to the third power. Well, now you do understand, you have to understand that that 3, that exponent 3, only applies to what's directly in front of it. So it does not apply to the 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite the 8. I'm going to bring the 8 down. And so now I'll apply the rule. The rule said to multiply the exponents. So I'll multiply 5 times 3 to get my new exponent. So my final answer becomes m to the 15th power. That's my final answer. And then this last one, it's a fairly simple one as well. This is a fairly simple rule. It's fairly simple as well. Once again, do be aware that the exponent outside here, this 2, only applies to what's directly in front of it. So I'm going to go ahead and evaluate this first one first. Okay? So that will give me 9 times a 6 times 2. Okay, I'm going to multiply those together times 2a to the 7th. Okay, so this becomes 6 times 2 is 12, 9a to the 12th times 2a to the 7th. Now, now we have a problem like we did when we did the first part of this video when we looked at rule number 1. When it stated if the bases are the same, you simply add your exponents. So I'm going to put like things together. I can multiply 9 times 2. 9 times 2 gives me 18. And then the rule says if the bases are the same, and my bases are the same, I have an a here and an a there, you simply add the exponents. So this time I don't want to multiply them, I want to add them because this is actually rule number 1 now. So this becomes a to the 19th power because 12 plus 7 is 19. So my final answer is 18a to the 19th power. Now what I want you to do, I want you to stop the video. I want you to go back up to that first problem on the right and work those problems on the right hand side of the page and restart your video so you can check your answers. Okay, if you've restarted the video, that means you're ready to go ahead and check your answers. Let's go ahead and review the rule real fast. The power of power property. To find the power of a power, you simply multiply the exponents together. So for this first one, I have x to the third all raised to the fourth power. I need to multiply my exponents together. So I'll just simply multiply 3 times 4, and this becomes x to the 12th power. And that's your final answer. It's fairly simple. For this next one, I'm going to move this. For the next one, I'll just do each one at a time. I have x to the 6th raised to the 3rd power, so I'll need to multiply 6 and 3. And then I have y to the 2nd all raised to the 6th power. I'll need to multiply 2 times 6. So I'll end up with x to the 6th times 3 is 18, 18th power. And then y to the 2 times 6 is 12 to the 12th power. So I end up with 18 to the 8, excuse me, x to the 18th power, y to the 12th power. And that's my answer. Uh-oh, that's not too good. And then for the last one, this one looks a little bit more involved, but when I look at the first term, 2m to the 4th, n to the 3rd, everything here is already simplified. Now when I look at the next one, I have 5 times m to the 3rd raised to the 3rd power, n to the 6th. I see here I can go ahead and multiply those two exponents together for the m term. I have m to the 3rd raised to the 3rd power, so I need to multiply those two exponents together. So this is what I'll end up with. For the right side, for the left side, I'll just go ahead and rewrite that for right now. That gives me 2m to the 4th, n to the 3rd, times 5m to the 9th, because 3 times 3 is 9, and n to the 6th. Now, after I do that, I have a problem just like the ones we were working in the first part of the video, when the rule said if the bases are the same, you simply add your exponents. Where here, I just want to do like things together. I know I can multiply 2 and 5. 2 times 5 is 10. And then what else do I have alike? I have the m terms. I have m to the fourth times m to the ninth. The rule here says to add your exponents. Remember, this is actually rule number one, okay? So this will give me m to the 13th power. And then for my last one, my my n terms, I have n to the third times n to the sixth. Once again, the rule says to add those exponents. Remember, that is rule one. So that gives me n to the ninth. So my final answer is 10 m to the 13th n to the ninth. All it takes is a little bit of practice. It's a fairly simple process. I hope that this video has been of some help to you. And if it has, please watch more of our videos for more help. Once again, thank you for watching the Math Academy.